the end of this lesson, you will be able to study about the basic unit of life and understand the concept of the cell. We, as one of the categories of the organisms on the earth, perform several activities throughout the day after getting up in the morning till going to sleep in the night. Just like that, all the other animals and plants perform several biological activities to stay alive. For this, organization of the body of organisms or organizational patterns of organisms is so important. In this lesson, we will consider about the smallest structural unit of the living body. In 1665, the scientist Robert Hooke discovered a structure like chambers in a beehive in a section of a cork by observing it using a microscope. He named one such chamber as a cell. In English, it is known as a cell, and it comes from the word cella in Latin. The meaning of the word cella is the small cage. Apart from this, he had observed different plant cells, small insects, and fossils through a microscope. He has mentioned all these observations in his book called Micrographia. Later, due to the invention of more powerful microscopes, the understanding of the scientists about the cells had been developed. Matthias Schleiden, who was a botanist, stated that all the plants are made up of cells based on his microscopic observations. Theodor Schwann, who was a zoologist, stated that all the animal tissues are made up of cells based on his microscopic observations. In 1838, the two scientists, Matthias Schleiden and Theodor Schwann, introduced the cell theory. According to the cell theory, the structural and the functional unit of life is the cell. All organisms are made up of one or more cells, and new cells are formed from pre-existing cells. In 1855, the scientist called Rudolf Virchow observed and indicated that new cells are formed by the division of the pre-existing cells, and it further confirmed the cell theory. When we consider the organizational level of the organisms, the cell is the smallest structural unit of the organization of the living body. Except in a few occasions, generally the cells are not visible to the naked eye, so they should be observed by using the light microscope. Organisms composed of a single cell are called unicellular organisms. As examples for unicellular organisms, different types of bacteria, amoeba, and paramecium can be stated. Organisms composed of many cells are called multicellular organisms. Cells perform different functions in the body. For example, transportation of oxygen in a human body via the red blood cells and transmission of impulses via neurons can be stated. According to this, it is proved that different cells have different kinds of functions to perform. Further, the cells are different from one another from their shape and the size.